2-2 pitch. Hit in the air. Deep left field. Playing back. Andrew Jones at the wall. Looking. Goodbye. Home run. Tie game. Jimmy Leyritz has tied this game up on a 3-run homer.
Everybody out of the dugout. Another breaking ball. We were talking about bad breaking balls from rollers. You actually give the hitter too much credit. You speed up his bat. The biggest home run for Jimmy Leyritz in this postseason.
Jim Leyritz is with Armen and Levack. And Jimmy, you have been clutch in the postseason in historic fashion that we will remember forever. Why could the Yankees not get any runs last night in the wild card loss to the Astros?
Well, it's been the same thing that's that's been rearing its head all season, is basically not being able to manufacture a run, not being able to put a little pressure on the pitcher as far as bunt, hit, run, steal a base here and there. It's just something that they have not done all year. And I think last night was a perfect example. You got Chris Young on base early in the second hitter on the game getting on base. Then you got to think about, okay, listen, let's hit and run, let's move them over, let's do something that we haven't done to put a little more pressure on these guys. And unfortunately, the Yankees couldn't do it all night.
The first 2 innings, Jim, the Yankees were working the count. Keuchel was like 20 pitches an inning for the first 2, and then after that, it was like 10 pitches an inning. Did Keuchel settle down, or did the Yankees get away from that, work the count, make him work game plan?
Well, it's one of those things that we, as a player, we always hear, if you don't get this guy early, you're going to struggle against them. And I think that's obviously the scouting report on Keuchel. So, I think that gets in your head. That gets into thinking of, okay, we did a good job the first 2 innings, but now they're up 1, they're up 2. We got to start, putting more pressure. And I think they got a little bit more aggressive. I think the strike zone was a little bit in favor of the pitchers last night. It was not, I didn't think it was as consistent as it could have been. And that might have led to these guys being a little bit more aggressive, because early on they got some really, I think, bad calls when they were trying to take some pitches and work the count. So that could have dealt it in it too.
Jim Leyritz with Armen and Levack. Jimmy, isn't Joe Girardi known for the small ball, for the analytics, for getting guys on base and getting them home? Isn't that his MO?
Well, that's what he was known as a player. That was his style of play, and I said it all year. It surprised me that in certain times when the bats are struggling, when you're not hitting the home runs, that you don't go back to something that you used to do as a player. And he hasn't done it all season, and I don't think it should be a surprise that when they really needed to do it over the last couple of weeks and now that they just couldn't do it because it wasn't something that was emphasized all year. And like I said, it showed up big time last night.
So what would cause him to get away from that? What would cause him to believe that he could be successful without the small ball play that we've been talking about?
Well, again, you look at this lineup and you got A-Rod, you got Teixeira there most of the year, Greg Bird, these guys aren't much fleet of foot. But the one thing that they think they've gotten away from over the years is that, we had guys like Paul O'Neill, we had Tito Martinez, guys that were good hitters, and they pulled the ball a lot, but they knew how to move a runner over. They knew how to hit the ball the other way. They knew in good situational hitting, and it just really surprises me that they have not been better all year in this situational hitting.
Did this team underachieve or overachieve?
No, I think they completely overachieved with the injuries, with what they expected. The year they got out of A-Rod, which was totally unexpected. The one positive that I take from everything, I think Brian Cashman did a great job of not panicking at the All-Star break to go out and trade some of these young kids, like a Greg Bird, like an Aaron Judge, like these guys that are the Yankees' future. And I think they did a great job of holding on to them. And I think if anybody, Greg Bird has benefited the most. And it's going to be interesting, like I said, to see what the Yankees do this offseason.
Two-time World Series champion Jim Leyritz with Armen and Levack, 104.5 The Team. So, Jimmy, you were at the game last night at Yankee Stadium. Late in the game, there's a ground out to first base. Yankees still not getting on the base pads. Did you have a problem with the Yankee fans booing?
No, of course not. I mean, that's Yankees. That's New York. Welcome. That's what we love about the fans is they stay on top of us. and they make us go out there. And they expect us to perform every at bat, every pitch, everything, and that's who they are. And I didn't have a problem with that at all.
All right, Jim. Brian Cashman calls you up and says, "Jimmy, I need your help. What do I do to fix this team?" What do?
You bring Jim Leyritz in as a coach.
Oh, yes.
Give the man some work, man. J.O.B.
No, you know what? Again, I will say that honestly, that I do think the coaching staff needs to have a little bit more major league experience, guys that have played the game a little bit more, that that could add to a little bit of teaching these young kids with these shifts and everything else that they have. I think the hitting coach, whoever it might be next year, if they stay with Rutland or not, if they stay with him, then they've got to start working on, being able to hit the ball the opposite way, being able to get some of these shifts away from some of their hitters to open up the field some more for them.
So, Jim, it's a philosophy issue, not a personnel?
No, I don't think it's a personnel issue. I don't think it is. I think, I think they have a good enough team. They have a good enough young talent. Like I said, you're going to see Judge next year. They have the nucleus of a very good team, and I've said this all year long. They reminded me of the '93 team that we had, that was just on the cusp of finding out some young kids that could really help, that were going to be around a long time, and also mix in some veterans that that still had a little bit left in the tank. And I think that's where they're at. And if they were to say to me, "What do you need?" You need to get younger in the pitching staff. You need to give a guy like Warren, a number 3, number 4 starter, and really get these guys on the right track and find some good young pitching.
Jim Leyritz with Armen and Levack. Jim, we've had a great time all season long. We might bug you again in the postseason, but, man, we believe in your cause, thegreatestsave.org. We believe in your knowledge and what you've been telling us all year. Just great insight for the full 162. So thanks, 163. So thanks for everything that you brought to 104.5 the team this season, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me, and hopefully, like I said, anytime you need some talk or anything like that, I'm available, so give me a call whenever you want.
Or anybody to play golf with, for crying out loud, because that's basically your job these days.
He'll school us. No way.
Yeah, I got my handicap down to about a 7 now for as much as I play.
All right, get out of here. JimLeyritz.com, thegreatestsave.org. Jimmy, we love you, man.
All right, love you, brothers. We'll talk to you later.